Hi, medieval history students. Mrs. Paskogan here. Today I want to talk to you more about our current project that we just recently started, Feudal Honor Codes and Values. Okay, so for this, you should have already looked at the Honor Codes and Values introduction lesson, and I discussed an overview of your entire project. So now we're going to start getting a little deeper into this. We're going to look this week at the samurai in feudal Japan, specifically their expectations. Because then if you look next week, you're going to look at the expectation of knights in feudal Europe. Okay, and that goes with this final product you're going to do, the inquiry argument, in which you will answer this question. How did the feudal honor codes of Bushido and chivalry represent values of their respective societies? So sort of like how I started this whole project off about our honor codes, the CPDELF honor code and what we value, how that's in our honor codes. So how did what Japan and medieval Europe value, how did that show in their codes with Bushido and chivalry? So that's what you're going to be writing on. So everything here, these checkpoints build up to helping you answer these final products. All right, so let's look at, okay, so this checkpoint 2 that you're working on, and actually I'm going to be putting in, don't always get caught up on the numbers because the numbers change as I add in my own weekly instructional lessons. But so this week you're going to learn about the expectations of samurai in feudal Japan. And by the time you do the documents and the graphic organizer, this is what you're going to be asked to do. What were the expectations of samurai in feudal Japan? So what were they expected to do? And then you're going to use this. You're going to put your quotes in here. It says, then using your work from the checkpoint activity, select at least 2 quotes that back up, so that support your answer that you wrote here. You could add more rows. So take a quote from one of the resources, put the resource, put the quote in the resource number, or here you put the resource number, sorry. And then here you copy and paste the quote. And then here, explanation of how this evidence supports your answer to the supporting question. So you can't just leave a quote hanging. You have to tie it back into, you have to explain your quote, in other words. So how does your quote help you prove this? Okay. All right. So, but to do all that, you need to do your document readings. So this is where you're going to get all your information. This is how you're going to learn about the samurai. So who were the samurai? What's this idea of Bushido all about? So what were the expectations of samurai in feudal Japan? So you're going to read the supporting question, which we just did. Follow the highlighting directions to find supporting evidence. Read each document that relates to the supporting question. After reading this document set, complete the graphic organizer. So you're going to go through here, and I'm going to let you read all this. But you're going to learn about these virtues of Bushido. What does it all mean? What was the code of Bushido? So you're going to go through. There's only 3 resources. And then after that, you will complete this graphic organizer here, which I already showed you, and then to complete the checkpoint, okay, this writing assignment. Now, to help you, I have my weekly instructional lesson, and let's see, I just got to pull it up here. So my lesson this week Okay, so my lesson this week is on the samurai and the code of Bushido. So the learning target, I can explain a samurai's way of life and the code of Bushido. So look at this image here. What do you see? What do you think is happening here? So take a minute there. What do you see here? So you see 2 people fighting. Right? They look Japanese, and do they look female or male? So what you're seeing here are 2 Japanese samurai battling each other. And what's especially interesting is that while most samurai were men, there were some women warriors as seen in this picture. According to ushistory.org, a monument was erected to honor Nakano Takako, a female warrior, at the Hokai Temple in Fukushima Prefecture because she asked her sister, now listen to this, to behead her rather than die dishonorably from a gunshot wound in captivity. So imagine that. Imagine their honor code being to the point that you would rather have someone behead you than die a dishonorable death from a gunshot wound in captivity. So they didn't want to be captured. So they would rather have, they would rather, have someone kill them by beheading than be captured. So think about that and what that means about their honor code as we go on. Okay, so what you're going to do now, you're going to explore on your own. There's something for you to read here. You're going to read more about this Code of Bushido and what it all means and the samurai. You're going to watch a short video to learn more about the role of samurai in the Code of Bushido in Japan. And then you're going to do these flashcards on the key terms. And then here, I just want you to you just start typing here, describe the samurai and their Code of Bushido. So what did you learn in this lesson? And then to test your knowledge further, take this brief matching quiz. And then you're going to use the knowledge you gained in this lesson on the samurai to help you complete the checkpoint expectations of samurai in feudal Japan. And that's what I just showed you earlier in Summit. So you're going to be assessed on selection of evidence and explanation of evidence. Okay, so think about that. So the evidence that you're going to select from everything you're presented in those documents. So that's what you're assessed on. Did you pick the right evidence to help support your answer? Okay, and then how you explain that evidence to tie into your answer. Okay, so make sure you read the documents thoroughly, and also don't forget that graphic organizer will help you as well. And then when you're done, you always self-assess. So you're looking at your own learning, and you'll select one of these, and then you're going to write, just in a sentence or two here, in what ways have you gotten better at this type of work? Okay. So that's what we had for this week. You're learning all about the samurai and their honor code of Bushido. And then keep this all in mind. This isn't something that just goes in your head and then it leaves. This is something that's going to keep building throughout this whole project. You're going to need this information to compare it to the knights that we study next week, because one of your final end products is going to be comparing and contrasting the two. Okay, so if you have any questions or concerns, you need any help along the way, you know where to find me. Have a great week.